Hi, all you hungry people out there. Welcome to Hungry Cat Daily with Nick and Lance, the podcast where we'll be recapping every Garfield comic from A to Z. My name's Nick Ramirez, and I'm joined today with my co-host, Lance Gilstrap.
Hey, Nick. We also have another guest with us.
Yep. She is... she was a writer for Wyatt Cenac's problem areas, and for the upcoming Disney Plus show, The Big Kids.
The Big Kids.
Yeah, the Big Kids. The Big Kids. That's what it's called. You don't have to read my credits for this podcast, Nick. But thank you.
And her name is Chrissy Shackelford.
What up, my hungry cats?
No, we're not hungry cats.
You just called your audience hungry cats.
Hungry people.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I get the name of your fans wrong?
Yeah, actually, you did. They're hungry people. Okay, let's recap.
All right. We
just kind of jump right into it.
Yeah, we jump right into it.
Well, that's right. Well, Michael, we asked him, like, if he had any Garfield memories, or what's your experience with Garfield?
Vast. It's vast.
Like, did you have Garfield stuff when you were a kid? Did you read the books?
No, I watched the cartoon a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have pencil toppers?
No, I didn't have any pencil toppers. I wasn't lucky enough for that, but I did. Yeah, I did watch the cartoon. I never saw the movie with Bill Murray, unfortunately. But yeah, that would be my experience with Garfield. Thank you so much for asking.
Okay, let's recap.
All right. We are looking at Sunday, July 2nd, 1978. Chrissy, would you please do the honors of reading that first panel or reviewing that first panel?
Yeah, of course. And so our background is a fuchsia.
Ooh.
That's how I would describe. And then our bottom, our ground our bottom would what I would describe as a lime green. And so I guess that's it, it's sunset and that Garfield is outside because the green is the grass and the fuchsia is the color of the sunset. So we're setting up that it is dusk.
You think he's camping?
No, I didn't say camping. I said outside. So I think he's probably in his backyard, kind of at what we in the biz might call golden hour or magic hour. And he has a little thought bubble, and he's thinking about how he's out of shape. He is under a blanket, and that blanket is blue. And he is out of shape. And that's what he's thinking. So this is kind of like a sad moment. This is like maybe... If I were to compare this to another piece of media, I might compare it to Bridget Jones's Diary, the first act, where Bridget Jones has a blanket wrapped around her, and she is singing All by Myself by Celine Dion, and she is writing a diary entry about how she's not happy with her weight.
Is she sitting on a block?
Is she sitting on a block? She's sitting on a couch, which I do think that this block is meant to represent Garfield's couch. Like, Garfield's a couch potato, but he's a cat, so he can't be a couch potato. He has to be a box potato.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's fair.
Were you all ready for this kind of like in-depth analysis?
No, this
I love
is
it.
great.
Who goes next, Lance?
I'll go next.
Okay, let's do panel 2. Well, that was great, Chrissy.
That was great, Chrissy.
Thank you so much.
So we are in a very similar panel here. Garfield is still in his box. His little paws are on the front lip of it, kind of curling around the front lip of it, and he's got a big smile. I will say, just from what I know about Garfield, I feel like this is inside the house. But again, I haven't read forward, so it's possible that it's outside. That would be a Gar first. And Garfield is thinking, I think I'll take up jogging. Period. No, Nick, there's a period after that at the very end.
That is interesting. I also point out that he's inside the box this time.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, we've seen him. I think when Michael was here, he mentioned that it looked like Garfield was on top of the box.
Right.
But now
Mike
he's
also
inside the
thought
box.
he was in his litter box.
Well, I just want to kind of address the attack that was made against me in that recap, and that so maybe like for you, what you know of Garfield is that he's in the house, but for me, as like an outside commentator, what Jim Davis is giving me in this moment reads outside.
Right, but
Yeah,
I was
he's-
open to the idea that it's possibly outside, and I understand why you would think it was outside. That wasn't an attack. I was just trying to describe the frame. And because of what I know about Garfield, I was describing it as looking like it was inside.
Great.
Yeah.
And because of what I know about the outdoors,
Right.
I mean,
I would describe it as outside.
it looks like he's on grass,
No, I agree with that statement.
but it would
So
be
we
a
all
Gar.
agree.
Yeah, but it would
Yeah.
be a Gar first if it were outside.
It would be a Gar first.
Okay, let's move on to panel 3. And I'll take this one. So, this is a juicy one. He's
Oh, no, Nick. You simply can't describe it like that.
Garfield has hopped out of his box onto the floor or grass. We're not sure yet. It happened very recently, so recently, in fact, and so quickly that his blanket is still hanging in the air. It looks almost like a ghost. The blanket does. There's motion lines everywhere. Garfield has all 4 feet on the ground. His tail is up. It looks like he's ready to jump into action. Maybe, someone like Chris who hasn't read much Garfield might think he's about to jog. Lance and I probably think, oh, he's not really about to jog. He's going to make some kind of joke about that, or there's going to be a joke about how he's not jogging.
It's
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
This is new that you're predicting what's going to happen.
I would
yeah.
just like to address the attack against me in that last recap. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that I was meant to ingest the entire collection of Garfield before I was asked to be a guest on this podcast. And I actually think that my outsider take is really interesting. And I think it's kind of nice that I'm looking at it with fresh eyes.
No, I
No.
like that, Chrissy. I prefer the new point of view. I like it.
Yeah,
And
no.
I don't think that I'm dumb to think that the cat might want to jog when it's telling the audience that it's going to jog.
So Chrissy did think he was going to jog.
I didn't know what I thought yet.
Nick, how would you describe what's happening around Garfield's feet?
I guess he's just slammed onto the ground so quickly that he's knocked tufts of air about. I don't know. How would you describe it?
Let me ask Chrissy. Chrissy,
Okay.
where else? What else have you seen these little poofs of air used to represent in, like, say, comics?
Explosions?
Mm-hmm. For me, it's farts.
Oh. Okay, so you're kind of leading the witness there.
You're hoping
A lot
one
of
of
times-
us would say farts.
So you didn't have to.
But I ended up saying it.
I
Okay.
mean, we don't think it's farts.
We
right?
don't think it's farts. No.
No, because it's coming from his feet.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we move on to the fourth panel?
I have
Yes.
a question for you hungry cats about this third panel
We
before we
can. We're
move
not
on.
Yes, yes.
hungry cats.
Meow, meow, meow. Okay, so we see this blanket here.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think this is meant to hint at some sort of like crossover with the Peanuts gang? Is that blanket Linus's blanket?
I did think it looked like Linus's blanket. That's an astute observation.
Yeah,
Thank you
maybe.
so much.
Yeah, maybe he just like ran out of ways to draw blankets, and so he just copied from a Peanuts cartoon because it does look very much like Linus's blanket.
Have you guys ever seen those Heathcliff comic strips where he'll just have like Kermit and Garfield and everybody's hanging out with Heathcliff? Like he'll just draw in like the Zitz characters and like I don't know how he gets it's not like a copyright infringement thing, but
Right, but Nick, this is not Cool Cat Daily.
no. Okay, let's move on to panel 4.
Chrissy, you want to take panel 4, please?
I'd love to take panel 4. So now we're
this is a good
pure
one.
fuchsia. We're pure fuchsia. The bottom, the ground of green has gone. So he's in the sky, I would say. He's in the sunset. And Garfield has what appears to have launched himself into the air because his body is no longer on the ground. And there are little sprinkles of dust coming off of his butt, if I may be so crude. There are little sprinkles of dust in a tiny cloud that is meant to represent that he is now airborne.
But Lance, what do you think that looks like, Lance?
That little cloud.
No, I would say it's dust. I mean, it is interesting that it's coming out of his butt. And earlier, I thought that those were little fart balloons, but I would agree that looks like dust falling off his body.
So you don't think it's a fart and a bunch of little poop?
No, I didn't think. That's disgusting, Nick.
Okay,
I'd
sorry,
like
Chrissy.
I'd just like to discuss Garfield's ears here. They are wind-struck back. And so, to my earlier point, it does seem that Garfield is jogging. This would imply that Garfield has begun to jog. This frame, if we were only looking at this frame and none other, we would think this is Garfield. He's not a hungry cat, he's a jogging cat.
Chrissy, I'm on your side here. The moment we got to this fourth panel and I saw it, I thought Nick is going to have to eat his fucking words.
He's going to have to eat his words. There's, is it breakfast time? Because there's an egg on your face, Nick.
Yeah.
Well,
and maybe that cloud is an egg and then that's going to fly into your face.
Yeah.
there is an egg on my face. Garfield is jogging.
I will
all
ask.
I can do is say, I apologize, Chrissy.
Thank you.
I'll ask the both of you, if you were outside and saw a cat running down the street, would you be like, that cat's jogging?
This is a great question. Something that maybe should have been addressed in panel 2. Yeah. Jogging is a strange verb for a cat.
But Garfield is, he does a lot of things humans do. We saw him drinking soda pop in the last comic strip. He called it soda pop.
Well, let's really dig into this jogging word, because you would say, oh, that cat is running or that cat is scurrying. But jogging is so specifically for a human, the act that is in between walking and running. And I would not say that this panel looks like an in-between walking and running. This looks like full speed ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is not a slow jog.
So now you're starting to eat crow.
Excuse me?
Well, he's not jogging, even by your definition.
But he's exercising.
Okay.
Yeah, Nick, I have to agree with Chrissy. You're still the fool here.
Yeah. You're the jester.
I think
You're the dunce.
I think we might get to a panel where it turns out he's jogging to food or something.
All right,
Well,
Nick.
don't-
I don't know
come
what
on.
this is
Jesus
what
Christ.
is up with you, Nick, predicting what's coming next. This is new for you. This is not something we do on this show.
Chrissy gets me riled up sometimes.
Yeah, you seem real riled, Nick.
Okay, let's
All
move
right,
on to
let's
panel
jump into
5.
this fifth panel. Garfield's clearly tired. When Garfield gets tired, his jowls seem to like sag more, like get pulled more towards the ground.
Yeah.
He has falling off of him what I would now consider sweat. This is the first time, Nick, what I would say this is sweat, not drool.
And now we wonder if it was sweat all along.
However, cats don't sweat; they drool. So again, maybe it is drool. Garfield's tongue is out. So Nick, I just point out to you, this is Garfield and not Gene Simmons.
I thought maybe it was Gene Simmons when we first got to this panel.
Garfield has like one little paw in the air, like he's trying to take one last step, but he just can't do it. He looks very defeated. He looks very lumpy and sad, and he's not thinking. He is saying, or just the noise is coming off of him, pant, 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 pant. He is clearly tired from jogging.
He does
Yeah,
it.
maybe he wants to go shopping.
Go shopping.
That's a good point.
Oh, for
he's-
pants.
He's asking for pants. All right,
Okay.
Nick.
He does look lumpy, kind of like a hunchback. Are we allowed to say
Jesus
hunchback?
Christ.
No. We'll cut that out.
Yeah. It's really-
Okay. Last panel. And I was right. He was jogging to
Yeah,
his...
of course you were fucking right.
He was jogging to his food, and we see that his food bowl was only steps away from his box, and he's very happy to be by his food, and he says, "Whew!" exclamation point, made it, period, or he thinks that, and there are more globules coming from him, and we're at this point it's unclear whether it's sweat or drool because he does have the food there, so maybe he's drooling. And yeah, he's at his lime green Garfield food bowl. Yeah.
Here's
Anything to add?
Well, I just have a question for both of you. Is this funny to you? This like central joke of this comic strip?
I mean, that's what we're about to get to because
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But that's the next question to ask, right? Is like, how do we feel about this? So, do you have anything to add about that last panel, Nick, before we get into rating?
No, do you?
No, other than like the box is so close to his food that if you're following the narrative, the spatial geography here, he jumped right out of his box. That was a full leap. So he's like one cat length away from the box. And then he leaps into the air. He must have just jumped straight up into the air, and the dirt fell off of him in a weird diagonal because he really didn't have room to get to that.
That fourth panel doesn't make a whole lot of sense anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and to your point, Lance, that third panel, we would probably see a peek of his little dish.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. All right, should we rate this bad boy?
Yep. I don't know.
It's not funny.
No, it's not. Chrissy asked if we thought it was funny. No.
I get the joke, but I do not find it funny.
And what year was this? 1978?
1978.
Yeah, you can't even like be like, oh well, it was a different time. Maybe they just weren't as funny then, because people were funny back then, and this isn't funny.
When do you think people started being funny?
No, I think it's a great question.
I mean, I Love Lucy was funny, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's like late 50s, early 60s.
Maybe it was like around the Great Depression.
Oh.
That's a good point.
I think like a new kind of funny that wasn't so like wholesome or vaudevillian, where it was like there's pain now.
Oh,
So people
wow.
became funnier because they experienced a collective pain.
Huh. That's interesting.
It is interesting.
Thanks.
Maybe like
I
one
don't
tray,
think- What'd you say?
like one tray of lasagna.
So, Chrissy, we rate these on
Trays of lasagna.
0 to 5 trays of lasagna.
Okay. Trays of lasagna. That's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's how much you like it. It's not how funny it is. I mean, humor obviously is a part of this, but like, for instance, we had one earlier that I thought was just like sweet, and so I rated it higher because it was sweet, even though it wasn't funny.
It's I used to think Garfield was funny, and I still think we'll get to some funny ones eventually. Sorry, that was just an aside.
I think I'd go one lasagna tray as well. Mainly because I'm giving it a 1 because I think the colors are fun. It's like fun to look at. But I think the central joke of this is someone who's out of shape can barely make it to go eat food, and that's the joke. And I just think that, there's something funny there.
Right. Right. A lot of the jokes, especially these early Garfields, the joke is like he's out of shape. Yeah, I go one tray, and mostly just because it's a Sunday comic, so I get a little bit more like action. We get the jump, we get the leap. That's a little fun, but it's not funny. It sucks.
We never found out whether he was camping either.
Yeah. Hopefully that mystery will unfold itself over the coming days for you two.
No, I don't think so. Okay, let's rank it.
Did we not just?
Well, so we
No,
just rated it, Nick, but you didn't rate it, did you?
Oh, I said 1, I think.
Okay, so we're all in agreement 1, so this evens out to 1. So now we need to rank it.
I mean, 1 out of 5 puts it like right there in the middle of the pack.
That's sad that 1 out of 5 puts it in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys hate this comic.
I like Garfield. I try not to be too negative. But yeah, these early ones aren't that strong. So it'll be like a few years before we get to some good ones, I think.
A few years.
We may have to fast forward a little bit. We'll see.
We'll talk about that. I don't know about that. So should we just put it like at 7 out of 13?
Yeah, sounds good to me. You know I don't care.
Well, Chrissy, thanks so much for joining us today on Hungry Cat Daily.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, you hungry cats.
Okay, I guess we're the hungry cats now.
You are the hungry cats and you feed the hungry people.
But who will ever feed us? Okay,
John. John will feed you both.
Thank you all
When
for.
does Odie come in? Sorry, I have so many questions. When does Odie appear?
I think we have like two or 3 months. I didn't jump ahead. I just know that there's a plot point we're not going to spoil that happens soon.
Okay, that's exciting.
It's very exciting.
Okay, well, thank you guys for listening and watching. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever podcasts are found. Send us your Garfield memories and drawings at hungrycatdaily@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at hungrycatdaily, and check out our Facebook group at facebook.com/hungrycatdaily. And also find us on YouTube. And I think you just have to search for Hungry Cat Daily, because I don't think we have any URL for that.
And until next time, see you in the funny papers.